I will have here the enjoyment of introducing to you one of the sharpest people I've ever run into, a good friend and a business partner, one that I have learned a lot from over the last 4 years that I've known her. And she is very well qualified in the area that she works and teach. She is a registered nurse, a Reiki master, double certified law of attraction life coach, a certified hypnotherapist, and body goals coach, and of course, a radio talk show host and a healer. And together we do the Broadcast Team Alpha internet radio show. And we also put together a mastermind group by the incredible people. And we do some incredible things. And by herself, she has put together the Center for Radiant Well-Being, where she helps people rebuild their bodies, their mind, spirit, and nourish the soul. And because of all that, she is probably the second most busiest woman in the world, and nobody knows who number one is. And well, here you are, Nori, and we are looking forward to hear what you have to say.
Thank you. It's exciting to be here. It's been an incredible conference so far. Yesterday was off the charts. So good.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are going to talk on hypnosis and what all that will do for people. And there's a lot of misconceptions about what hypnosis is, especially if you're buried in religion. You may have some misconceptions about a lot of things, and hypnosis is one of them. But maybe first, could you maybe talk about what actually is hypnosis and what do we communicate with when you talk to somebody and put them into a hypnotic state of mind?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So hypnosis is a deep state of relaxation. That's really, really all that it is. Like when you've driven a long way, maybe on a highway, not that many turns, and you just kind of zone out. And then all of a sudden you're at the light before you make the turn to your house and you go, how did I get here? Or if you're watching a movie and then all of a sudden you jolt up and your significant other says, you were sleeping. No, I wasn't sleeping. And you weren't sleeping. You actually were so relaxed that you were in a hypnotic state. So let's just talk about the mind for a minute. So our conscious mind, let's say it housed in the top part of our head, just for the purpose of this talk, it's only 10 to 12% of our whole mind. Our subconscious mind is 88 to 90%. That's a lot, right? And our conscious mind thinks, it analyzes, it judges, it feels, it makes decisions. And inside our subconscious mind are all of our experiences, all of the abstract and nonlinear thinking that we do, very creative, very creative. It stores our involuntary reactions, right? So our subconscious mind, we're not thinking about breathing, right? Now, although it's part of our sympathetic nervous system, right? The subconscious mind takes care of that. The way we brush our teeth, you don't have to think about brushing your teeth anymore, right? That's in your subconscious mind. So there's a critical filter that develops in between the conscious and the subconscious mind, like a little sandwich in between. And that begins to develop between 2 and 8 years old. Everything before 7 years old goes into our subconscious mind and gets stored as truth. Our subconscious mind doesn't know whether it's true or whether it's fake. It just stored everything. So all of the crazy things that our family did, all the crazy things that the Catholic school nuns did to me, right? Everything is in there. And it's just sitting in there waiting to find people, places, and things that match up with it. And then we say yes to it. So if by chance you were eating a big meal when you were, maybe a teenager, or maybe younger, let's say 7, you're eating a big meal at 7, and your uncle says to you, hey, good year, you're going to eat all that food. And you go, oh my God, I'm fat. So stored in your subconscious mind is the checkpoint, I am fat, I am fat. So what happens is when you go through life, you start looking for things that link up with that false truth that's in your subconscious mind. And that's part of the reason why we keep feeding ourselves when we don't want to eat that anymore, why we eat sugar when we don't want to eat that anymore, why when you want to lose weight, you end up going and getting a bag of candy corn, so all of that is in there, and it's hard to get in there. The only way to get in there, well, there's 2 ways really. You can repetitive your affirmations, but I'm talking about affirmations that are said so many times over such a long period of time that you kind of go unconscious and you accept them. That's the hard way. The easy way is to go with somebody that you like and you trust, have them help you relax to the state of brain waves that are conducive to your analytical mind, your judgment mind. You got to do the laundry, that mind. Have that mind take a rest, and then go in and not rip out any of those things that we don't want in there, but to gently and subtly replace them with more positive, more productive, more health producing, right? More emotional health producing suggestions. And as a result, those negative parts, the things that we don't want to hold on to anymore, just kind of slide out. How's that, Augie?
Wow, that was a pretty good explanation. That was good. I know hypnosis has been around a long time though, and it's been probably improved over the millennia, because there is a good chance that this has been around for millennia, because I read the transcript of a panel that came out of a temple in Abydos, Egypt, where it said that a person was healed by the words of another. Boy, oh boy, that kind of sounds like hypnosis or something similar to that. So what we're doing here is something that has been around a long time, have a phenomenal track record. And I know we've known each other for 4 years, so we're doing a lot of things together, and we've talked about some of that. And you have a tremendous track record on what you're doing in helping people both heal themselves and maybe an occasional curiosity that probably could lean back to time regressions and things like that. But your passion is healing.
Mm-hmm.
And how does hypnosis relate to healing? Let's say specific health changes that happens in the mind where everything starts, that then also from the mind start surfacing and showing up in their physical appearance and health and everyday life. How do you help people like that?
Well, the way that we think about health is really important. The way that we envision our power to stay healthy, the way that we feel about our immune system. If you were raised with a mother who at the dinner table would say, oh yeah, our neighbor, she has the big C, right? You know, you don't say the word cancer, right? So you may be a person who grows up thinking that cancer is a really big, freaking scary thing that you only whisper because it's so powerful. You only whisper its name, otherwise it's going to get you. So if you are one of those people and you recognize that you have this fear of cancer, it's so easy to go in and to change that. So easy to go in and change it. A little bit harder to go in once the cancer cells have come into your body, but still very doable. It's not hard at all. If somebody really, really wants to do it, and the underlying belief is in epigenetics, then it can be done, and it's wonderful. Let's take something a little bit more everyday. Let's say you have chronic pain. When people have chronic pain, there's usually a point in time with their pain where they're in the fetal position on the bed, just feeling like they have absolutely no power in their life to change the pain that they're going through. They can't outthink it. They can't distract themselves enough. You know, they try to go to functions and pretend they're not in pain, but then the pain gets them and brings them back to, oh, I've got chronic pain. With hypnotherapy, you can go in and, you know, it's a big gap. Okay. It's a big gap to leap if you want to go from chronic pain to no pain. So I tend to go slowly with people. You know, we kind of eke up over that trajectory. And the first place I would take somebody, and where it happened for me, it worked for me, was to go in during hypnotherapy. And it's fun, right? I think other people make it fun. I make it very fun. You know, you can, like with the pain, you go into a control room, like an amazing control room, right? And let your subconscious mind and your imagination build that control room for you. You know, so what kind of chair do you have? Look at all the dials and the knobs and the lights and the levers. And then you sit down at that control panel and you dial back the pain just a little. That was fun. How'd it go? Pretty good. What other dial do you want to use? I want to use this one. Dial that back. What is that one for? Oh, that's for the nerve pain. Okay, go ahead. How was it? Pretty good, right? And then we just play like that. And when the person comes back to their waking life, they, one, maintain the decrease in pain that they have created. They created themselves. And two, you come back not a victim to the pain. So your mind knows, you know what? This isn't forever. I do have the opportunity to change it. I don't have to live like this forever. And that is such a glorious and liberating experience for people. So that's one of my favorite examples, and relatable, very relatable. You know, big, huge cancer changing moments are hard to relate to because the critical mind gets in our way, right? Our critical mind, as I would explain it, would go, oh, they can't do that. They can't really do that. Maybe they could do that. So I like the pain example the best.
Yeah. But there's another thing too, that since we are talking about examples like this, a simpler example also where maybe you can help them help themselves. Let's say somebody is 111 pounds overweight and they really don't like being that way. Now, to go in and help them get rid of the fat, it's a little harder than help them start getting more hungry for the right foods, get more of a hunger to start exercise, get more of a hunger to feel good after taking supplements, and maybe motivate the subconscious to do the right thing. Maybe you could talk on that, because I know you've done that. You told me.
Absolutely. So when you go into that deep, delicious relaxation, and it's delicious. I mean, the times when I was hypnotized, I was, you know, like dripping, drooling. And I mean, I was literally that relaxed. But when you're that relaxed, and if you are the type of person, and it depends on the way that you receive information, and I do a little test with you before we ever do a session, so I know whether you're literal, whether I speak very directly to you, or if you're more indirect, that you take inferences better, right? You don't like literal, you don't like to be told what to do. That's me. So Augie's laughing.
I'll testify to that one.
His style is very direct, and that just like bumps me completely out of hypnotherapy, because it rubs up against that part of me that doesn't like to be told what to do. But when you're deep in hypnotherapy and you're having beautiful scenes run across the screen in your mind, and your subconscious mind doesn't know whether it's real or whether it's fake, if a good hypnotherapist can take you into your life, right, with you having a different body and having the joy of running up a flight of stairs and feeling your muscles, feeling your leg muscles flex every time you run up the stairs, and you get at the top of the stairs and you take a deep breath and you're not afraid, right, because your heart's not beating too fast like it usually does, and you're not out of breath. And if you can experience all of that, you can bring that back with you. Now, it's rare that something that expansive happens in one session, especially because, food is a really big, habitual thing that's always there, right? If you're addicted to drugs, or if you're addicted to alcohol, it's not always where you are, but food is pretty much everywhere. So it's a little bit harder. But if you go in and make the correlation of feeling so nourished, I mean, feeling like your cells are just happy and they're lit up because of the food that you just ate, and you're very aware of the food that you ate and the way that it tasted, you will come back with a desire to eat that way. You will come back with a desire to be open to the other possibilities that will bring you to the body and the health and the well-being and the shape that you really, really desire. Is that what you're looking for, Og?
Absolutely. And now you are also using a term here that you say that you, especially in the Center for Radiant Wellbeing, you are dealing with people to help them improve their body, mind, spirit, and soul. Now, we understand how hypnosis can help the body, and we kind of starting to get the idea how it can help the mind, spirit, and soul. That is something that a lot of people don't think hypnosis can do much. How can you help the soul with hypnosis? How can you help the spirit? But you really can.
That came a little bit as a surprise to me. I had some experiences with beloved clients who were going in for one thing, and something that seemed very straightforward and very mundane, which led me to now always say, you don't really know what you're going to get with your subconscious mind when you go in. You may go in there thinking, I want to get my ex-husband out of my head. And this was true. But we went in and she took a whole different path. She took a whole different trajectory. And she ended up in the garden with Jesus and having dialogue with him. And it healed some really deep, old, painful wounds that she just couldn't seem to heal. We thought we were going in to heal the wound of her ex-husband. And here she goes and she meets Jesus. So it blows me away. I mean, I have sessions where literally I had God chills, right? Because it was so powerful and it was so real for them. Jesus was really there with them. And that was such a spiritual experience for them. And I have to tell you, when she came back, her whole life did a 180. Her husband wasn't even a remote, distant memory, but her whole life shifted in such a way and in all the ways that she wanted it to begin to unfold and become who she came to be. And then with the soul, the soul is the part of us that experiences life, right? It experiences beauty. It experiences divine experiences, beautiful romantic experiences, relationships and sunsets and, pillow talk and meaningful conversations of healing with your parents, all of those things that enrich our soul. Sometimes things happen related to those experiences, right, that are traumatic, and a piece of the soul shatters off. Pieces of soul shatters off. And I know the shamans do this too. I'm sure mine is very elementary compared to what they do. So we go into hypnosis, and we don't really go in with the intention of retrieving that particular piece of your soul, having to do with Uncle Fred, or whatever it was. We go in, very holistically, and we allow the subconscious mind to truly, truly call back the soul fragments and bring them back in and have that person, restore their soul to whole, perfect, and complete. Because we may think, right, our critical mind may think it was Uncle Fred because he's so creepy. He always wants me to sit on his lap, but it may turn out that it wasn't him. That was just something that, stuck in our mind. It was really something else. And it is such a beautiful, it's almost like a rebirth. It is so phenomenal when that happens for people.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have memories, maybe harmful or hurtful memories that may just be misunderstood.
Yes. So classic example, a woman went in to surgery for a really basic surgery, right? I mean, no surgery is really basic, but on the scale of surgery, it was like her gallbladder. And when she was under anesthesia, the doctor said, "Oh, she will never be the same again." Her subconscious mind grabbed a hold of that, maybe associated it with something else not so positive that was in there. She came out of surgery. She was in wicked pain, and nothing made the pain go away. The doctors gave up on her. They sent her to pain management. Pain management gave up on her, sent her to a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist sent her to hypnotherapy. We can repeat verbatim like 90% of what happened in the operating room under hypnosis. So she went back to the operating room, found out that the doctor was celebrating, that her internal organs were so healthy, and that this little gallbladder that was, giving her so much trouble is going to make her life so much better. When she came out of hypnosis, she never had another pain. It was completely gone. So yes, you're exactly right, Og.
Yeah, so she would never be the same in the bad situation she was before. She will be kind of like new again. Oh, that
Right.
made perfect sense.
Right, but it got misconstrued, just clicked wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, clicked wrong.
Wow.
I know. It's so awesome.
Yeah, and another thing too that comes to mind is that there are a lot of people. I'm going to turn this around on myself a little bit, because under hypnosis, we don't necessarily have to stay with information in this lifetime only. We may have fears of some things. I'm thinking now somebody that just won't get within 10 feet of water. They have fear in the shower because maybe they drowned in a previous lifetime, and in cellular memory, somehow that stays with you. So you have problems in this lifetime. What can be done with that?
Everything can be done with that. So, if you find that you have a fear of water and you suspect, that it came from another time, we just go in and we explore it. And the beautiful part is, the thing that I love so much about hypnotherapy is you don't have to go back, even if it was way back, and do the primal scream, right? You don't have to go back and live the pain, live the horror, live whatever it was. You come in as an objective observer. But the beautiful thing that I found with my clients is the subconscious mind speaks to them in symbolism. So you could be, standing by a magnificent pond, and you can see down into the pond, and the rocks are so soft and glittery. And here comes a fish, and the fish has a message. True story. The fish has a message for you, and you're looking in the eyes of this magnificent koi fish, and the koi, sends a beam of light to your eyes. This is what they're telling me. And in that moment, they are healed. If it was a horrible, shipping wreck, or, you were made to walk the plank, or, whatever it was, you don't have to go back and relive that. And I feel like I'm talking to Laura. I'm looking right into her eyes on the screen. It's so great. And you come back healed. I've had people go in for incredible grief, sitting on a bench in the forest, and a deer comes by, and the deer transmitted whatever they needed for the healing. And the deer was perfect for them, because deer meant something to them. An owl meant something to somebody. So it is so, so beautiful. Like I said, you don't have to go back and have to do the primal scream, But
Yeah,
if you go in, this is a little bit different. If you go in for something a little bit more practical, like if you think that your partner is not being faithful to you, and you want to go in and find out, you're not going in to find out what's going on in his or her mind. You're going in to find out the truth of what you already know. And it could be done as easy as, okay, so you're walking along the street, and you turn into a driveway, and all of a sudden you look downstairs. This is New York. You look downstairs into the basement, and you see a bunch of guys working out. Mm-hmm. Do you see your husband there? Yeah. Tell me what's happening. Then they tell the story, and all of a sudden, here comes somebody, that comes in and puts her arm around him, and bam, right? That what that person already knew just came to light through that visualization, that scenario, that visualization is probably the better way to say it. So things that are a little bit more practical like that, maybe not so symbolic. Yeah.
let me just compare hypnosis a little bit to maybe regular psychiatry. I know a little bit about hypnosis, and that's why maybe I can draw this connection, because psychiatry, they want you to go back and relive all the bad garbage that happened to you so you can understand it. And it may have some value to that, but every time you do that, you reinforce it in your subconscious mind. Hypnosis, on the other hand, I think has the ability to shut down the conscious mind, so the hypnotist can talk directly to the subconscious mind and help the subconscious mind create more understanding, or actually reprogram the subconscious mind program to not have the same negative effect as they had before, possibly even fill them with love, so they're still there, but they don't have the negative vibration with it. So there's a lot of things here. When you bypass the conscious mind, that usually around 90 to 400 miles an hour, depends on if you're a pilot or not. This get out of the way. We can talk directly to the subconscious mind, which takes everything at face value and believe everything it is told. Now you can start over again. Am I on to something here, Nori?
No, you're totally on to it. I'm sorry. I'm having a barking chihuahua. I am so sorry. It's what she does.
Oh,
I've had a couple of people who were in the counseling and the psychological field, and one of them was my sister, who I had only met 3 years ago because I was adopted. And after being in one of my 12-week classes where I use hypnosis a lot, She said that if she knew about hypnotherapy, that she wouldn't have done the amount of time that she did in traditional therapy. That this just gets really, it circumvents so much stuff that you don't have to deal, don't have to deal with or dig through to get to where you're going to get anyway. So yes, you're absolutely right. One thing I wanted to mention though, because we're talking about conscious evolution, we were talking about driving along and you're going unconscious, right? And then you get home and you're like, whoa, how did I get here? Like you collapse time, or you watch the movie and you zoned out. It's really important, talking about hygiene, right? Energetic hygiene, conscious hygiene, is to, in my humble opinion, every morning with your prayers, your meditations, your affirmations, make an intention that you are the only one who controls your mind this day. I am the only influence in my mind today, because all of that programming, TV, right? The Candy Crush, the games, the cell phone, all of that, even movies, is putting us into hypnosis. Now, many of us are not under that hypnotic spell because we're here at this conference, but a lot of other people are. And that's part of what gets you, that's what, the powers that be are swinging that watch going, you're getting sleepy. And then everybody follows the program. So, and for the people in your life who are not really awake yet, if you could somehow put that into words that make sense to them, and just say, hey, when you say your prayers in the morning, will you do this? That's a great way to help protect your best friend, your sister, your brother, your husband, your wife, whoever it is, your mom. So I just really wanted to say that because of this conference. That's so amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I got another comment. There are people in business out there that wonder, what could hypnosis do for business? And I know it can do a lot. It could improve intuition. It could improve insight. It can improve memory. It can do an awful lot of things. And especially maybe in partnerships and stuff like that, when you have personalities that may be different. I was lucky back in my past, I had a partner that we overlapped so good. What he was strong at, I was weak at, and the other way around, whatever I was, strong at, he was weak at. Just like this, and somewhat similar as you and me on the radio show. There are areas where you are putting color to what I'm talking about, and we overlap really good. How can hypnosis help somebody in business to become better and more successful at what they do?
Okay, there's two little stories I want to tell. The second story is about when I hypnotized you, if that's okay.
Oh boy, oh boy.
You can say no. I'm going to tell the other story first.
All right.
So I was working with this brilliant man. I mean, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. His desires for life were so admirable, to take care of his family, take care of his parents, to do this with the family business and that, and, take and have a better relationship with the women in his life, and just wonderful, wonderful desires and intentions. But there was this thing that would always come up. Somebody'd bump into him and he'd wonder, am I really good at this family business? I'm feeling like I'm getting some static, and it always made him doubt. It always made him doubt. So now, not everybody works this way. It could be much more detailed, but for him, it worked this way. He went in under hypnosis, and he didn't want to do a regression. So we decided he would meet his wise self. Some people call it the wise mind. We called it his wise self. His subconscious mind was so beautiful. I mean, he lived in a different part of the world. So, he was in a jungle and described the huge leaves and the sound of the birds and a beautiful waterfall, magical waterfall. And this man's pretty pragmatic, right? So it's surprising to have all of this beautiful imagery coming out. Out of the waterfall comes his wise self. They sit down, they have a talk. He finds out, he asks him, was I ever a billionaire in my other lifetimes? And his wise self said, yeah, pretty much all of them. And he said, how? And he said, your organizational skills. He didn't say skills, but he said your organizational. Okay. So then with that, the feeling that the man received, right? The overwhelming feeling, because organizational made sense to him. I'm waiting to find out, right, what that is. So he takes that feeling, which was so satisfying. It was the answer to what he needed in the most beautiful feeling. We took that feeling, we put it somewhere in his body, and we put it in a place that when he touches it, he gets that feeling back. So when he comes back to his waking life and he's about to meet up with that person who's always rubbing against him, he feels that feeling, and boom, that interaction is forever changed. When he came back, he told me that he thought that his organizational skills were not enough. I mean, if you could see the charts that this man made just for his desires, you would go, of course, your organizational skills. So then we broke it down. What does the organizational skills mean to him? Well, it's the way I direct these people. It's the way I talk to people. It's the way I help people and invest their money. And the freedom and the relief completely changed the way that he navigates in his world, which naturally brought more abundance to him. So for business, that was an amazing one.
Wow. Yeah.
I love that one.
There is remedy.
I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
So with Augie and I, it was a little different. We overlapped really great, but there was seriously something that wasn't working, that we always rose above it, but not without a lot of jaw clenching, and your shoulders going up into your ears. There was a lot of that. And for whatever reason, Augie's like, hey, want to hypnotize me? Yeah, let's turn the camera on. So he went back, and it turned out this was very healing. And I'm probably going to cry a little. I don't know. Went back to a past life where we were together, and he was the captain of some huge Nordic ship. I might not get all the details right. And we were partners in a way. And his decision made us drown. He carried with him, somewhere inside him, that charge of energy that he felt unforgiven because he made me die. He didn't make me die, right? We all choose to go no matter how we go. And it was just like one sentence that I was able to say to him, where you could see like all of those thousands of years just wash away from him. And after that, everything was different, right?
Yep. There is remedy in there.
Yeah, that was a beautiful healing. That's more of a healing, but business brought it around. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I see the clock is running. There's something I really want to hear you talk about, because there are some people that you can take back and get them to feel and meet and communicate with their star family. Please speak on that.
Amazing. Okay. This was another session that we were going in for something seemingly mundane. And I offered three different platforms for modes of transportation. And this client chose a ship, a rocket ship, ended up going galactic, going to her star planet, meeting her star family, having this huge ceremony that wasn't just, you know, a welcome back kind of thing, but it also, there was all of these things in the back of her mind that she thought was just her imagination, but she found out that it wasn't imagination, it was true. Those relationships were real. Those beings were still with her. And then at the end of it, they did do this very special ceremony where she received like a huge pendant. And it was very unique and very special to her. But it was an activation of her gifts that she hadn't activated yet and couldn't have activated because that part of her was the star part of her. And she needed that connection in order to make it happen. So those are the ones that I almost fall off my seat doing. But you can not only meet your star family, some of the other ones that I've had the blessing to be witness to was going back for a healing, like going galactic for a healing. This was before we were talking about med beds, and it wasn't really a med bed. It was much more elaborate than that. You know, the pathway there, what the people looked like, what she was placed upon, the specific colored lights that were very meaningful to her, the stones that were beneath the bed, that the platform she was laying on. Huge healing that transferred into her waking life. So in addition to star families and going galactic, you can meet your wise self, you can meet your angels, you can meet your guides, your ascended masters. You can certainly do shadow work, right? If you got some things hanging around that keep coming up, like if there's that one thing that keeps coming up in your life and you're like, oh my God, here it is again, you might want to look at that. Might just be like a little shadow part of your being that you want to rise up into the light. So we could do that. Oops. People have gone in and healed grief, massive grief, not just for family, but for pets. I mean, I went into hypnotherapy for a pet. I mean, it was so traumatic. I loved this creature so much. It was like my soulmate that I ended up having heart pain. And I went through hypnotherapy, and it was a conversational hypnotherapy. So it was like me and Augie talking right here. He's asking me some questions, and click, it was gone. It was literally gone. So anything, childhood trauma, experiences that you're unsure of, if you lost something and you really need to know where you lost it or where it might be, you can do that too. You might not always have 100% success. It just depends on, where that is embedded in your subconscious mind. What else, Og?
Yeah, when it talks about meeting your star family, that is somewhat of an extended family. You could actually also connect with angels.
Yes.
Guides.
Yes.
Speak on that.
Yeah. Or you may meet them, by virtue of meeting your star family, or you can intentionally go in. I want to meet my guide. I want to meet my guardian angel. I want to know who's with me. I want to know which ancestors are with me. You can go in specifically for that information. And it is always, oh my goodness, it's so satisfying. I mean, it's satisfying to watch. So I can only imagine how satisfying it is for the individuals. So beautiful, so beautiful. And you can heal relationships with people who have passed on. If you're like, my mother died, I didn't get to make peace with her, or somebody left, I didn't get to make peace with them. You can go in for that purpose too and have a beautiful, lovely, lovely result.
Yes, because everything starts in the mind, and that mind has access to everything because it creates everything. So your mother is in that everything, and we can make the connection.
Mhm.
And the communication that comes, actually, you may walk away later and say, gee, did that really happen? But when you feel the calm, the comfort, and the peace afterwards, you know something happened.
Okay, so I'm going to tell an experience. I have to talk low because there are people who don't understand. So when I was under hypnosis that I talked about in the beginning, where I was so relaxed, I was drooling, I came out, I received words, and the words that I received were, I'm the mother of the children that I don't have. I don't have children. I'm the mother of the children that I don't have. This was like 5 years ago. I kind of forgot about it. One day during the mastermind, I was leading the visualization, which is very much somewhat like a hypnosis because we get so comfortable. I got so comfortable, didn't remember that I asked to be a channel. For whatever reason, I felt a lot of pressure in the back of my neck. So I said to everybody, hey, if you're feeling pressure in the back of your neck, just go ahead and open that door. I opened that door, and all of a sudden, we're having a dialogue. Is it okay? Is it still okay? I'm like, yeah, it's still okay. And this Pleiadian came through. His name is Alchemedes. And on that day, he introduced me to my star children. 5 years ago, under hypnosis, I'm the mother to the children I don't have. 6 years later, I finally find out what that means. That's how powerful, that's how real it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. I cried for 3 days after that. It was such a relief. It was kind of blissful.
Yeah, I remember when that happened.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons goofy things and wonderful things happen in those mastermind sessions. We should invite, let's do that in a little bit. Let's invite people to join us. And another thing is that going galactic, I think, is a term that you're using sometimes for healing. You can get upgrades on mind. You can you can be part of initiations, activations, and advancements that you may otherwise have no access to. No, you may have access, but you don't know how to get there.
And it wasn't intentional that all of these came about, to tell you, these were the ones where we're going in for another reason. And then somebody ended up getting healed. We went in for another reason. She went galactic and she had an activation. We went, we were going in for some other reason, excuse me, and she got upgrades because she was all pretty, tuned in already. So that has opened my mind to the possibility that anything beautiful, positive, generative, loving, productive can happen during hypnosis. And I say all those positive things because that's my intention. So it's really important to know who you're working with, to know what they believe, right? To make sure that your intentions are in alignment with each other so that only amazing and wonderful things do happen. Yeah.
Another thing that I remember, I got a question about one time quite a while ago. That person told me that I don't want to do hypnosis because it could interfere with my plan that was laid down for me from the universe. Well, if you clear before you go in, make sure it's for the good of all concerned. There is nothing to worry about there because it will, whatever happens in that session will be for the good of all concerned and for the enhancement of your, should we call it, master plan? Something to that effect. What do you think?
And the thing that I found if you're like carved in stone, this is my plan, and you go in, you may find, adjunct helpful things to that plan.
Mhm.
You may find when you come back, you're drawn to something else. And it's not like you go, oh, my plan is falling away. It is so natural and it is so magnetic that you just go, oh, look what this is. Yeah, I'm going to go there and I'm going to go there. And you start following it and you notice, okay, so that was not my master plan. Here it is. And it's equally as good.
Yeah. A lot of people, they say, I don't know what my mission is. How can we use hypnosis to find out what our mission is?
Absolutely. You can go in with that intention. And depending upon you, depending upon the way that your subconscious mind talks to you, is the way you'll get your answer. Many people receive a word, boom, take that one word. What is it? Oh, okay, that's my word. And that helps. Other people go in, they're open to new possibilities, they come back, and like I mentioned before, they're suddenly naturally drawn to other people, places, things, circumstances, events, creativity that brings them to the clarity of their mission. Mm-hmm.
I think also that some of the things we are going through, we agreed to before we put on the meat suit, I mean, our body. And those things that we came here to do, we may not necessarily find our way to it because there are so many distractions. There are a lot of times that people go through a whole lifetime and there are some things that they came here to do that they never did get to do. That is where I think hypnosis can come in, because it reaches into the subconscious, which may not have the answer, but subconscious know how to reach out through the superconscious to the universal mind and find out, what does it say in my master plan that I agreed to before I put on the meat suit? Okay, that and that and that. And then they come back and now they know that this is what I agreed to, and this is what would make me happy in what I'm doing now. And of course, I'm playing on words here, but is there something to something like this?
Absolutely. And one of the ways that I love for people to get their answers is to go into a forward progression. When you go into a forward progression, you're kind of reverse engineering when you get back. So you can go there, meet yourself, I don't know, 30, 130, 3 years from now, it's up to you. And then you see yourself, you take in everything about yourself, you have a dialogue with yourself. When you come back, you likely will have embodied many of those qualities that brought you from there to there. Or when you come back, like before, you're going to be drawn to the other things that take you from here to there. You may find that you don't like smoking anymore. She didn't smoke, he didn't smoke. That was probably something that contributed to his or her success. Right. And then you don't do this anymore, or you take this on, or you are inspired to go take a class or go to school, or, or collaborate with certain people, right? Things that you might not have done, but after meeting your future self, you kind of reverse engineer it and then you go about it. Amazing.
Oh, yeah, that's something that I almost forgot, but this is something that we needed to talk about, because you are doing something that is kind of unique. I haven't really, and I never thought of it, but I don't know if anybody else actually do this, where you take people forward in time to meet themselves, have a discussion, maybe give ourselves, our future self, advice, and come back with, what did I do up in the future to make things work here? Now that's powerful.
And it's so fun and it's so magical, or it could be mystical, or it could be, go into the Stage Deli in New York with your future self, it's not there anymore. You know, having one of those sandwiches that are bigger than your head and having a glass of bourbon or whatever it is, right? That you do with your future self, and have this conversation. And I may be looking on, asking questions, not really understanding what the symbolism means. But when the person comes back, it is so clear that they know exactly what it means, and they know exactly what it's going to do for them. Yeah, I
Wow.
love that. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Really my favorite.
Yeah. We gotta try that sometime.
All right.
Yeah.
We could record it.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, that would be just as interesting. I know
Wait,
we
no,
mentioned this a couple of times now for
you
people out
did
there.
do it. Wait. You did do it. You went forward first, then backward.
Yeah.
Remember the white suit and the meeting that you couldn't be late for, and around some big thing. Remember?
Okay. Now that rings a bell. Yeah.
Rings a bell. Okay, we may have to watch it
Yeah.
again though. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know we mentioned this now for people that want to see that hypnosis session when Nori
Hmm.
put me under live on camera. Go to broadcastteamalpha.com and scroll down. I think it's probably about a year and a half or so back down in the stream of shows. It is there. It says Argue hypnotized live on camera or something like that. Watch that one, and then you can see how she does it and what happens. And of course, I probably was an easy subject because I'm also a hypnotist, so I know how to shut the mind down so she can talk directly to my subconscious a little simpler.
Well,
But
wait a minute. Wait, I have to interject here.
yeah,
That was probably one of the hardest sessions I've ever done. You know, like
really?
doctors shouldn't do surgery on their family. I think maybe, you know, people shouldn't do hypnotherapy on people they're close. You know, it was very. It took everything that I had, because I was feeling the emotion. You know, if I didn't know you and have a long relationship with you, I would have been, you know, much more objective, have my own boundaries. But you know, I was feeling the emotion. I was feeling your pain. So it took a lot for me to stay where I needed to be to get you to where you wanted to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
and
It's good
also,
though.
I see now that we are down at the bottom of the hour. Let people know where they can make contact with you,
Yes.
and anything that you want to give them, website, phone number, email,
Mhm.
just
Yep. So a lot of what I do is done through the physical body, not just hypnotherapy. So you can find me at the Center for Radiant Wellbeing. That's where the intention is to uplift well-being, body, mind, spirit, and soul, and a lot of it is through the physical body. When you are nourishing, loving, moving, exercising your physical body, you're nourishing your light body. So it's not just like, oh, a 3D thing. You can get 5D through your body, and that's my favorite way to go. So you can find me there. You can email me at Center for Radiant Wellbeing, RADIANT, at gmail.com. I'm all over Facebook. Nori Love, hypnotherapy with love, coaching with love. Just look for anything with love and you'll pretty much find me. And you can find us at the Mastermind Connection. If you want information, send an email to the Mastermind Connection, all one word, at gmail.com. This was so nice. Thank you, Augie. What a treat. Thank you for all your comments in the chat room. Shauna. Some people made the stage deli correlation. Yeah. Ooh, it was 12:12. Nice.
I put your email address in the chat room now, so
Thank
people
you.
have it. Go ahead and save this one because maybe today you're thinking like, you know, this would be kind of fun, but then you pass it on. 3 weeks from now, you run into a thought that just hit you like a small hammer and say, gee, that's right. What was her email address again? Because I really need to have a session. So
And
save it.
of course, the healer in me, if something that was said today or what you felt today has sparked something for you and you need to address it, or maybe, put a session together for it, you can text me at, so it's country code +1 757 323 5558. +1 757 323 5558. And I will answer all my texts.
Sounds good.
That was
And
so
guess
great, Nori. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Laura. Yay, thank you.
It's really wonderful. I'm just
Thanks.
kicking back,
Good for
listening.
you.
Really enjoyed
we
it.
do have
so
some
much.
questions for you, Nori.
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh, cool. We still have 15 minutes, right, for questions?
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh,
need to
excellent.
grab my water. Excuse me.
Are we okay on time here, Laura?
We're good.
I'll check.
Yeah, we're good. We have like another 11 minutes.
Okay, then we will use the 11 minutes.
All right. And if anybody wants to know about redox technology, because you're going to be hearing about it soon, definitely keep my phone number or my email.
Yeah, that is one of the technologies that heals and rebuilds the body.
Crazy. So good. And I can't say for sure, right? But for many reasons, including the FDA, one of the nurses that uses the product, it's a SIA, did dark microscopy on samples of blood that was not in the body of a vaccinated person, and then blood that was in the body of vaccinated people. And over time, she said the blood cells actually looked like that crazy cell, that we see everywhere that's embedded in our brain. The shape was kind of like that. And she said over time, with people drinking the liquid, the cells started to take on a more natural shape. So I can't say for sure that it works, but if you're having an issue because of it, it's worth a try.
And here we have the old man says, I tried going under when I was about 23. I have a star family for sure. But my question is, do you sometimes have to wait till later in life before you are able to be hypnotized?
No age. I mean, some people hypnotize little kids. They're actually kind of easier, because they're so used to playing in their imagination and just going into that fun place. So no, any time that it comes to you that you're thinking about it is probably the right time.
Mm-hmm. And then Shanti says, how can we schedule an appointment with Nori for a hypnosis session?
Mm-hmm. You can either email me at centerforradiantwellbeing@gmail.com, or you can text me at 757-323-5558.
Okay, and then we have Wednesday French. That's a little lengthy, so I'm just going to read. How do we find the right local hypnotherapist to dive into alien visitations? I'm very scared of getting the wrong person who doesn't know what they are doing. My dad saw a flying saucer go over the tent I was in one night in the California mountains. I was 15 and my sister was 12, and we don't remember anything. I think this even may have caused my psychic abilities. It seems as though it is important trying for me to uncover now. And the thing about it is that you don't need somebody locally. All of this now can be done on the internet. So Nori, speak on that.
Absolutely. You can contact me, but safely, I can recommend any of the hypnotherapists that did Dolores Cannon's program, QHHT. You would be very safe with any of them. But a lot of people now, if you find that they're kind of in your periphery of your tribe, hypnotherapists are pretty open, and believing, so that it would be a good experience for you. But QHHT, or you can contact me. If you don't feel comfortable with me, I'll help you find somebody. That's an important one. Mm-hmm.
All right. And it says here also, Esperanza. I had an online hypnosis, but I didn't really feel it. I think that maybe it's better in person, which modality is better. There are so many out there. I like Dolores Cannon ones.
Mhm. Well,
So,
if you feel like you need to be in person, then maybe that's what's best for you. But if you're working with somebody, and take your time, have multiple conversations with hypnotherapists. And if they don't want to have conversations with you, right, they already, selected themselves out. But if you feel safe, if you feel cared for, if you feel like you are on the same wavelength, you should, right? I don't want to should on anybody. You could be able to relax deeply enough, providing that the therapist is skilled enough to recognize when you're becoming restless and then help you relax more. So that may be a factor, of what could have happened. But if you need it in person, HMI in California has a list of a bunch of graduate hypnotherapists, and maybe you could find one in your area that way. I would highly recommend anybody from there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I love these questions.
Yeah. Well, what about towards the tail end here, Nori, your last message to people that is kind of sitting on the fence and nobody has shook the pole yet to make you fall off on either side? So what about someone that I wish, yeah, maybe I should, or it's so foreign to me? Any words of wisdom that'll calm their mind? And I'm saying this from my own experience. This is safe. There's a safety valve in the mind. There's a safety valve in the universe that will protect the mind.
Well, I mean, I can't speak for other people, but I can speak for myself. And I've been a nurse for 27 years, and I worked in all of the high adrenaline, trauma unit, the burn unit, and I loved it. I loved it more than anything. So I do lean heavily upon the fact that nursing is the most trusted profession. So that may make you feel comfortable if you're considering hypnotherapy with me. And the other thing is, have a conversation with me and feel if you feel like I get you, right? And if not me, use that criteria, for the other people. Like, what do they do? What do they do in their other life? How do you feel when they talk to you? But I think the most important thing that I could tell you is I treat my hypnotherapy clients the way that I treated my patients, and I treat them like I love them, like my family. And you are incredibly well taken care of and uber safe if you are in my practice with me.
Yeah. We just got one more question, and this is a good one actually, because there's a lot of these days. Leon Curtis says, can you hypnotize someone with Parkinson's, dementia, or Alzheimer's?
The dementia and Alzheimer's, probably not traditionally, where you come in, you sit down, you relax, right? That would not work. Maybe conversationally, you could you could catch a time when the synapses are firing the right way and get a suggestion in there, but I don't know, that would be tough. And I wouldn't do it without a doctor's recommendation. But people with Parkinson's, absolutely, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, but Parkinson, the mind is still good. So, yeah.
Hope for a time.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that even with dementia, as long as there are able to concentrate and follow you in the moment,
Right.
that can bring you in the door into the, they may not have long-term memory. Hypnosis, you don't really care so much about long-term memory while you're doing it. You need in the door. And once you're in the door into the subconscious, now you're able to activate some of the more capable traits of the subconscious, even though that the abilities of the subconscious to come to the surface get distorted. But you can get in. I think it can be done, but this takes some research, I think, in order to maybe be able to do it effectively.
It would be on a case-by-case basis with a doctor's recommendation, because sometimes the dementia, if it's that angry kind of fearful dementia, I mean, maybe you could evoke a moment of calmness in them, but they're kind of in their own world anyway. So if you join them in their own world and get them to come into your words for a minute, magic could happen. Absolutely.
Yes, it can.
Yeah.
Gosh, Nori, this was fun.
Thank you, guys. It was so great. So great.